My designation as an incel. So Michael O'Shea couldn't rape me. Karen Fabiano wanted to play jokes in 2010, not only with Pearl Gray and having the Gray family with Chris Peterman, but with having control over Columbia County, getting into the murder of Ralph Painter, and making me with Michael O'Shea to be an involuntary celibate. And she thought that's what the Gray family, Addie Gray, Keith Gray, and Ricky Gray, were there to help Bonnie Boom do and keep people away from me, keep my friends or any girl that likes me away from me, because I'm there to be a incel. An incel would be someone like Elliot Rogers. Now you would look into that as into social media's first contact with an incel. But if you look into the Oklahoma City bomber, and way back when I was a kid, and when all these contracts started, I'm a child molester, even as a teenager, no matter what age. I'm a fucking child molester the whole time. That's why I'm contracted. Build me up, build me up. Have the police agencies and the prosecution just pushing them along. Just give them a little help. Just a little tappy tap tap there, a little incel tappy. And then I become an incel with my hate through the government. And like Timothy McVeigh, Michael O'Shea is called in to watch me. That's why the mental health agencies weren't involved when I was a teenager and as I got 18 with Judge Shera Taylor, because they thought they had the protection of Judge Shera Taylor. You would start finding out more kids getting terrorized slowly inside of SHS, people getting terrorized out of school, and the mental health agencies giving advice to the cops of how to do their investigations. You would find a way for me to have government hate. Then you would find that I read the Oklahoma City bombing book while I was in jail for the Guns for Drugs scandal. I read the whole book. I even read not what's the other bomber in there? The Unabomber. I read his whole manifesto, and then I read Timothy McVeigh's statement at the end, because at the end of the bombing book, they have the manifesto of the Unabomber, and then they have Timothy McVeigh's letter too. Both good things to read. But you would find that also, if you want to look into Timothy McVeigh, the Unabomber would both be full of government hatred, causing them involuntary celibate actions. Either they can't have sex with a girl, they can't do anything like that, and they have hate for the government, and they know that no woman would like them like that, and no woman would like them with the hate they have for the government and their plans. So they took it out Unabomber by doing what he did, and Timothy McVeigh by thinking he was bombing a federal building full of federal FBI agents, because soldiers getting sent overseas for the exploitation of war to Timothy McVeigh was not something that the Russian government or a communist government like China would do, or something like North Korea. So in his mind, that government was exploiting our soldiers in an exploitation of overseas wars. The federal government was funding it, and his way was not only to stay away from women or anything, it was to build that bomb. And just like the so-called black man, Tim Kaminsky in my case, who walked away, you get Timothy McVeigh thinking that he's going to bomb a building full of federal agents. You get what Michael O'Shea and Nick Brazick and John Berg are going to be called, using the mental health agencies for an incel study. A study of Elliot Rogers, the Clackamas Town Center shooter, Christopher Mercer, Stephen Paddock, and why they have this intelligence and why they're allowed to have it, because it is how Timothy McVeigh himself got radicalized enough to go and bomb a whole government. And that's why they want to leave the Kim Anderson, we killed Marley and set her up. Really, we set up Brenda Carney? All right, fine. It was Carla Herb who told you Marley's face was turning blue. We'll just all admit to it. With the bombing in Hillsborough and how you get the Christmas tree bombing being involved with the FBI and Michael O'Shea thinking that Karen Fabiano could have immunity power with Audrey Ward because of the David Wu and Susan Bonamici's special election, causing Ethan Sterling, ex-military, to me to be contracted with his sister who works at Susan Bonamici's office to give Audrey the rights to say that on January 15, 2023, there was a hit on Susan Bonamici and her husband, Michael Simon, and that will lead back to the Junkway car hit that Judge Taylor freaks out about, and that Janine Martwick's actually involved in the Josh Comfort murder and the Ralph Painter thing, and Judge Taylor wants to be involved. So they start threatening more of Janine Martwick's and Judge Grant's employees that are informants for them for the racketeering thing. And then they all turn criminal too, based upon not only the schizophrenic explanation for the human trafficking thing, but because of me and how I live my life, the incel theory that Norm Miller could get arrested for the Charles Manson one, because that's human trafficking, but Dennis Varick could go on to the murder one, use his military background with Nolan Borders, and then say with Timothy McVeigh they've been doing a criminology study of incel people.